Hey vinyl community and all my music loving friends, it's MGK Boston. That's Mike back with another video. Day 3 of a 6-day heat wave here in the greater Boston area. It's a real smoker. But I'm off tomorrow for a long weekend and I'm going to a concert Saturday night. Outdoor concert, thankfully. Going to see The Cult. Looking forward to it like no other. I haven't been to a concert since before COVID, so I'm really looking forward to this. Haven't seen them since 1989 actually. Jason Bonham, his band, opened for them at the time in Ottawa. But anyway, enough about that. I'm here with a contest entry for the Kirkham Report. It's a channel run by a guy named TC. Channel's just called TKR, the Kirkham Report. I think you should subscribe to it. He's very good, lots of cool graphics. A lot more than I do, as you can see. I have to rely on my personality to get through these videos. But anyway, he's trying to get to over 200 subscribers. So he's running this contest right now like vinyl community people do. I don't choose to run contests myself, but I do enjoy entering them. So the subject for TKR or TC, his contest, is simply to pull 10 obscure albums or artists from your collection. I think that was his criteria, and that's not difficult for me. In fact, I was referred to this video, or this contest rather, by Brian over at the Embryonic Robot channel, another great channel you should check out. Very informed guy, knows his stuff. I think he lives in the greater Toronto area, and yeah, and he's got a lot of good stuff. His videos are great. Again, Embryonic Robot, and that's Brian, and that's who brought me over to this contest at the Kirkham Report. So without further ado, it's 10 releases, so I better get cracking. So the first one, when I say obscure, these are things I've definitely never seen anybody show in a vinyl community video, and I've watched several over the past few years. Just never seen any of these albums. So that's kind of my precursor or preemptive introduction to what you're about to see. So this is Breeding Ground. Of course, this was purchased at the great Sam the Record Man, Brian, whom I just mentioned in the Toronto area. I'm sure he would be familiar with the former Sam the Record Man. This was a band out of Toronto in the mid-early 80s, of course, called Breeding Ground. This was their first, I won't call it a full-length record, it's a 6-song EP, if you will, and it's called Tales of Adventure, and it was released in 1986. And further Canadian trivia, Fringe was a record label out of Toronto. A lot of punk rock bands on this label, a lot of new wave was their primary focus. And yeah, there were a lot of good artists on that label. It's now defunct. But this was Breeding Ground, and it's Tales of Adventure. Don't know how I'd characterize these guys. I guess kind of alternative new wave. Yeah, 3-piece band. They make a lot of great sounds for 3 guys. Synth pop, if you will. Some of the highlights you can look up on this. This Time Tomorrow. Turn to Dust is an excellent single. I remember hearing that in the clubs at the time. And Happy Now I Know, that's a good song. But again, number 10 on my list of obscure stuff, it's Breeding Ground, Tales of Adventure. I'm going to also show a couple of 12-inch singles in here too, because these are unique or obscure items, and that was, I believe, the criteria for the contest. So this is I guess you call these guys a British ska outfit. They were called Bad Manners. This was a cover of a 60s song, I believe. Was when this originally was out. Don't ask me the name of the original artist who did it. It's called My Girl Lollipop. And basically side A is just entire called the Extended Lick Mix, and on the B side I don't really know, Benny Regal. I haven't listened to this probably since my university days. I would have heard this on a campus radio station way back when. But this is a great 12-inch single, and it's Bad Manners. Great British ska. You want to get the party going, look up this song, and I know it's on YouTube. And it's Bad Manners, My Girl Lollipop. Again, 12-inch single there. Another 12-inch single featuring the great producer Adrian Sherwood. Adrian Sherwood was also known, he was an industrial music producer. I think he's still around, but he did work with a variety of people. He had his own band, Tackhead, worked with Skinny Puppy, Einster Newbotten, among others. His primary focus, again, industrial music, in the same school as an Al Jorgensen from Ministry. Maybe a little less aggressive than Ministry, more loops and samples. But yeah, this is called Sharp as a Needle, as the title. Well, it's presenting the Barmy Army, and there's 2 songs on this, and it's basically Sharp as a Needle on the A side, and the B side is England 2. Yugoslavia 0, again, score of a soccer match, but sharp as a needle. Look that up. Both of these are really cool. This one just simply featuring crowd cheering from European soccer match in the background with beats and loops surrounding it. It's really cool. Again, that's Adrian Sherwood. I don't know if that's him on the cover. Again, this is the Barmy Army. Yeah, it's just a 12-inch single. Sharp as a needle. Really excellent. Again, all of these 80s, when I pulled this list, it's predominantly, I'd say it's 90% artists from the 80s, just because that's when I was collecting a lot of, well, I still collect a lot of unique stuff, but this stuff kind of made me have some flashbacks thinking about it, and I'll probably listen to some of these tonight. But yeah, this was my main focus again during high school, university years, predominantly alternative, so that's what I was buying at the time, and that's what I'm pretty much featuring in this video, as I just said. So this is another band. I'd call these guys sort of a dream pop sound, and this not shoegazing like Slow Dive, but kind of close to that if you wanted to dare to compare. Lead vocalist Dominic Appleton also was featured in the collective outfit This Mortal Coil on the 4AD label. This Mortal Coil was a collective of different vocalists, singers, and musicians, of course. You know, Dead Can Dance, like I said. Who else on there? Well, again, Dominic Appleton, regardless, sang on a couple of tracks on the Filigree and Shadow album. I can't remember them. I'm trying to, but it's just not coming to me. But yeah, if you wanted to hear more Dominic Appleton singing. But again, this is a 4-song EP. And yeah, it's all really good. Waiting on the Wire is a really good slow burn. Really, really excellent. He's a good singer. And again, this is, again, like if I say, if Dominic Appleton sang on This Mortal Coil, if you're familiar with that, or the Cocteau Twins, it's also similar to that. This is the only Breathless record I have. They did a few more, and then they've disbanded into the early 90s. I'm not sure what the label was. They were on Tenervosa. Yes, they were. They're on the Tenervosa label right there. But yeah, I guarantee most of you have probably not heard it. So again, a good sample of what Dominic Appleton can do is Waiting on the Wire. And Bad Blood is really got a faster tempo, and that's another good track on this. So Breathless, again, Nailing Colors to the Wheel, the name of this 4-song EP. So where am I on my list here? Gosh, I'm only at number 6. I better speed it up here for TC, for this contest. So shifting gears back into another decade, this is 1970. It's a self-titled release from Cactus. Cactus was formed out of the ashes of Vanilla Fudge. Founding members were Carmen Appice and Tim Bogert, both from Vanilla Fudge. If you like heavy blues rock, you probably already know Vanilla Fudge. I don't need to tell you all about that. But this was the two guys after Vanilla Fudge split. Again, Carmen Appice and Tim Bogert, they founded Cactus. And this is really, really kick-ass blues rock. There they are. If that doesn't scream 1970, I don't know what does. I'm just jealous of the hair because I don't have any. Parchment Farm is a really great track on this. Oleo is probably the highlight for me. And right before Oleo, No Need to Worry. That's really good. But again, just straight up kick-ass blues rock. Just again, carrying on where Vanilla Fudge left off, if you will. And it's Cactus, their self-titled debut, 1970, the release on that one. And we're back into the 80s here for this one. Some British punk rock. It's The Exploited. I believe the release date on this one is 1981. This is live. I'm not sure where it was. Where is it? Oh, on the back here. Yeah, it was actually recorded in Edinburgh, Scotland in 81 at some club called the Night Club. Yeah, so again, just straight up, 2.5, 3 minute, punk rock tunes in and out. Pretty heavy, really cool. These guys, there's the lead singer, I forget his name. But Cop Cars, Crashed Out. I mean, each side plays in about 15 minutes. The Mod Song, Sex and Violence, and Punk's Not Dead was actually really popular at the time on college radio. I would have heard this probably grade 9, around the time I would have picked this up at the time. And I just got to show the record because it's on this nice... I'm not really into the colored vinyl thing, record store day, blah, blah, blah. But, it is cool when you do see it. And this is an oldie, like I said, 81, and I purchased this. I bought this used, but a year or two only after it came out. You can see the big Doc Marten boot on the label. That's pretty cool. That's The Exploited on stage in 81. So again, all these releases I've just never seen before, so I'm trying to keep my video unique and to the criteria of TKR, his contest here of obscure or unique stuff. So you may be familiar with this guy, you may be not. If you're familiar with krautrock pioneers Can, or Con as it's sometimes pronounced, C-A-N, they were late 60s, well into the 70s. And again, krautrock pioneers of that genre out of Germany. I believe they're from Cologne. And this is Holger Zuke. It's a solo album. There he is, Holger Zuke, and there's a cartoon image of him on the front. The title of this record, Der Osten ist rot, which simply means in German, the East is red. Holger Zuke played bass with Con, and this, he experiments a lot more. It's all it's sampling, loops, like he's playing a dictaphone. There's standard instruments, guitar, bass, organ, but a lot of sampling and just really cool industrial sounds. It's really neat. He actually tries to sing on the first track. It's called the Photo Song. It's kind of a humorous song, but the one you want to really look for on this that showcases all the weird industrial stuff going on, it's called Benkel Rap 82. Benkel spelled B-A-N-K-E-L, if you can't see that. Benkel Rap 82. And again, it's Holger Zuke. It's a solo album. He just passed a few years ago. But again, if you're not familiar with Con, the band he came from, he was a founding member. And if you look them up, simply look them up on Wikipedia, you can read what they're all about, or on allmusic.com, which is a useful tool to get biographical or discographies on certain bands. Allmusic.com is a really good resource. So again, Holger Zuke, Der Osten ist rot, or the East is red, English translation. And keeping up with the uniqueness, I thought I'd even throw in a little humor because I live in the New England area and Cape Cod and all the sharks. You've probably seen this movie at some point. It's the original motion picture soundtrack for Jaws. This would have come out at the time of the film, which was 1975, and it was on MCA. Yeah, from the Universal Studios. Anyway, yeah, and there you can see on the back, there's the cast, of course, the late great Robert Shaw, late great Roy Scheider, and Richard Dreyfuss, who's still with us. Great movie, seen it several times. Ever since I moved to this area, I kind of watch it once a summer. It was filmed over on Martha's Vineyard, just off the coast here, and it's the Jaws original motion picture soundtrack. Almost at the end of the list here, and the uniqueness continues. This band I have seen in the vinyl community, however, I've never seen anybody show this. This is a 10-inch live EP that was recorded in Toronto. I believe the recording date on this one, 1982. It's called Ha. It's got 6 songs on it, mostly culled from their first 2 albums. And this was recorded at a club that's long gone now. It was on Carlton Street, off of Yonge Street near the Eaton Centre. Anybody from the Toronto area, you would know that geography. And you can see here it was Larry's Hideaway. Club long gone now. It was recorded over 2 nights. It looks like August 9th and 10th in 1982. And of course, you know, Jazz Coleman, lead singer, Killing Joke. Of course, you can see the track listing here as well. Psych, that's excellent. Sun Goes Down. War Dance, which was, I wouldn't call it a hit, but it was on their debut, and it's a really excellent track. And again, this is a 10-inch live EP. It's Killing Joke, Ha. Again, recorded in 1982 in Toronto at Larry's Hideaway. Never made it to that club. It was closed by the time I was old enough to go to clubs. It was long gone by the time I lived in Toronto for a while. We're almost at the end here, folks. So here we are in Sweden. It's the Leather Nun. Don't know if you've heard of them, but you really should. This is a full-length album. No, it's got 6 songs, so it's almost a full-length LP. I'd still call that an EP. And they're kind of a unique. The lead singer sounds like Lou Reed, but then it's kind of got a new wave pop sound to it. That's the only way to describe it. They are from Sweden, but they do sing in English. And not on this record, but you can look it up on YouTube. They had a 12-inch single. They did a cover of their other fellow countryman, ABBA, also, of course, from Sweden. That's when everybody thinks of Sweden music, they think of ABBA. So they do a really funny cover, these guys do, of Gimme, 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 the ABBA song. Again, it's not on this, but you can look that up on YouTube, and it's quite listenable. Some of the highlights on this one, Jesus Came Driving Along is the best song on this album. Pink House is another one. And, you know, they get right to the point here. Have sex with me. You know, can't be more blunt than that. So it's, and it is called Lust Games after all. Lust Games EP, it's the Leather Nun. Release date on this one, I believe 1986. Yeah, straight out of Sweden on, what's the label out of Sweden? Just curious out of that. like looking at the different labels, more obscure. So they were on a label called Wire. Kind of an interesting logo. Looks like a guy with doing some welding there. It's got the welding mask on. Seems more like a speed metal label than a pop music label with the logo. But anyway, I'm not in marketing. So one more bonus. I know it's 10, but I'm going to do 10 plus 1. Throw in a little jazz, if you will. This is, you could arguably, some people would call this orchestral pop. It's the great Astrid Gilberto coming off her success with Stan Getz, of course, a couple of years just prior. This is 1986. And she teams up here with the B3 organ man himself. It's Walter Wanderley. He was originally from Brazil, relocated to LA in the mid to late 60s and had a pretty successful career into the 70s. And this is, it's accompanied by Walter and his two sidemen, and there's Astrid, of course, in the middle. Really pleasant. If this doesn't put a smile on your face, there's no hope for you. And again, it's called A Certain Smile, A Certain Sadness, the title on this. And that's, of course, the track. It's broken into two parts, A Certain Smile, and then number 2 is A Certain Sadness. And then side 2 kicks off with Goodbye Sadness. Again, it's a happy album, and it's a 10 plus 1. I violated the contest rules, but I wanted to throw in one extra just because it's obscure and it's unique, and it deserves to be on this list. Anyway, folks, please check out TKR's channel, The Kirkham Report. Does some really great stuff. Again, like I said, he has some cool graphics, and he does show a lot of obscure 7-inch singles, which is something I don't have a lot of. It's not something I collect, but it's interesting to watch regardless. Excuse me. And again, this is my contest entry, and I encourage any others in the vinyl community to hop on, subscribe to his channel, and submit a contest entry. It's just fun to do these lists. So everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy your summer.